How Bullet Train is a perfect example of action and comedy. There are countless films and genres, some more popular than others. When you think of action films, you think of fights, explosions, guns, chases, and blood. Bullet Train is a perfect example of an action packed film that is entertaining to the audience. Bullet Train is a movie that came out in 2022 that was highly anticipated by the audience and appealing to those who love comedy and action. The film's goal is to deliver a briefcase to the antagonist, the White Death. I will be going over how Bullet Train uses certain elements that categorize itself into its genre of action and comedy, plus how this movie uses certain elements that differentiate itself from others. Let us have a brief rundown of the plot for Bullet Train. The main character, Ladybug, played by Brad Pitt, has a job to steal a briefcase that is located inside a bullet train. He wants to avoid conflict as much as possible but finds himself in the middle of it all. However, we later find out that several other assassins are also trying to steal the briefcase despite not knowing what's inside. As the movie progresses, more characters kill each other in unrealistic yet creative ways. Towards the end of the film, there's a dramatic twist in the story as we find out the antagonist of the film, the White Dragon, has brought all the assassins together to kill each other so that he can avenge his wife killed by our main character, Ladybug. With there being even more twists in the story, the film ends with Ladybug being the last one alive. The setting takes place in Tokyo, Japan, which can all appeal to the residents of Japan. Bullet Train also appeals to the audience who enjoys close quarter combat sequences, guns, and violence, not to mention Brad Pitt, who is favored by the public a lot. Throughout the film, it is obvious that the cinematography is next level. The colors are all very vibrant and entertaining to see, from the lights to the buildings and the architecture sets the film's overall atmosphere. The three most entertaining characters, played by Brad Pitt, Aaron Johnson, and Brian Henry, have the perfect balance of comedy with the dialogue produced to the action wherever we see these characters fight. Yet this doesn't take away the emotional tone whenever a favorite character dies. For this movie to be considered an action film, there are a few necessary components. From the audience, we expect to see weapons of all kinds that can range from knives to firearms to even everyday items. For example, when Ladybug is fighting against Lemon, they both use a computer to help aid themselves throughout the fight, and it is ultimately being used to knock out Lemon. We also expect to see explosions, fights, chase sequences, shootouts, and blood. During the climax of the film, the train falls off the track, and we get this 1 minute and 40-second sequence of Ladybug falling through the train in slow motion, with explosions of all kinds happening in the background. Slow motion sequences aren't uncommon in movies, yet this scene makes the movie more memorable because just when you think there couldn't be more to happen, yet there is. Another way to be entertained is how creative the character deaths are. Certainly, much of the creative energy here has gone into finding different ways for dudes to die, said by Manhogola Dargis. I agree. Just when you think you've seen it all, this movie impresses you with the ways people get killed. You can typically expect what to happen next by putting together elements of what's provided by using common sense. However, Bullet Train has continued to leave me guessing as to what's to happen next. Patrick Hayes mentions there is no build up, foreplay, or readying of the guard before the action begins. Bullet Train rather shoots into life almost instantaneously. The element of surprise is well done throughout this movie, and the director David Leitch uses little details throughout the film to tie it all together. There has been several times where a character seemingly dies in the story. As a viewer, you'd be quite disappointed, but then later to find out that the character you cared about so much is somehow still alive with all the information showing you how. Without fight scenes taking place, a way to keep the audience engaged is the dialogue provided, or better yet, comedy. These two go hand in hand and mix perfectly together to help deliver entertainment to the audience. Typically, with action genres, the film are more serious rather than focusing on comedic value. What makes Bullet Train so unique is that despite the film being rated R, it takes place into a different direction than other movies. Bullet Train makes everything playful with a dramatic twist it incorporates into the characters to the inappropriate jokes along the way. People you don't expect to appear in the film do, for example, the famous artist Bad Bunny as one of the villains. This is purely for the audience's entertainment, and once you think a scene is over, there's always more. Brainy Jenke makes a remark stating, whether it be through the sharp dialogue or its more straight up humorous moments, it's a film that refuses to adhere to the serious nature of most action films. For example, during the climax of the film, the White Dragon is pointing a gun toward Ladybug. As they have their final conversation, it's a serious moment, yet Ladybug calls the villain bro. The White Dragon reacts, don't call me bro, in a very unexpected yet comical way. With all this information, we can conclude that Bullet Train is a perfect example of an action comedy film that separates itself from typical action movies with its unique and creative ways. The action is next level with the fight choreography. By combining comedy with action, this film offers something new to audiences that is very hard to come by. From the creative deaths to the funny yet unexpected dialogue, and even to the cinematography itself, you are always to keep guessing as to what's to come next.